love.
I am gonna have feedback. Yep. I'm gonna go ahead and mute.
Well, I just want to say a quick welcome to those of you that are coming in. We're going to give it just a few more minutes before we get started and as we get our technical back in together. But thank you all for jumping on. Okay, give us just another minute and we'll get ready to get started as we get ready to kick it out to Facebook. Well, good afternoon, everyone. I wanted to welcome you to today's Conversations with Carm. This is their second in our series, and I'm extremely excited about this conversation. So on behalf of Team Gumbs, I wanted to welcome everybody. Thank you for taking a little bit of time out of your Saturday to join us. And today, what we'd like to do is take this opportunity to get to not only for our residents of the city of South Fulton, but everyone to get to know Carmalitha Gumbs a little bit better. For those of you that joined us for our first one, this one will be just slightly different. We'll have a few fun questions at the end where we're going to do a quick fire round of questions. So stay tuned for that. We do have a brief agenda, but as promised, we will get quickly to our question and answer portion, but just a bit of housekeeping. You are able to ask questions. If you want to put questions in the comment section, I will try my best to get to each one of those. We are also streaming on Facebook, so we'll make sure that if we can catch those questions as well, we'll pull those in. If we do not get to all of those questions within the hour, we will definitely either send those out via email, post on social, but we'll make sure to get those answers out to you all as you have questions, because that's what we're definitely here for. Be sure that you have signed up for the campaign's email and that you're following us on all the socials so that you can stay abreast of what's going on with the campaign. almost, election time. So we want to make sure you're fully aware of what is going on. But before I introduce our guest of honor, I would like to turn it over to the Team Gumbs campaign manager, Ebony Hillsman. She's going to give us a brief campaign update and let us know where we're at the moment.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for the second of the virtual town hall series. We really appreciate you being here. It definitely means a lot to the campaign and to Councilwoman Gumbs that people have questions because, as you know, she's a great listener and she's always here for the folks. So what I like to say, just to start us all off, is that I want to give you a couple of updates, not just on the campaign, but also on the status of the Georgia voters. As you may know or may not know, we actually have some challenges coming up, but absentee ballots are still open. You can file for your absentee ballot by Tuesday, or Monday the 4th, I'm sorry. So you can still request an absentee ballot. And there may be some challenges with getting voter ID, but you can always reach out to the campaign and we can help you, direct you to getting that taken care of, troubleshooting issues, but also remembering to early vote if possible, which starts on October 12th. And of course, November 2nd. We want the turnout to be consistent and all the way ready for all of the things that are going to happen with the upcoming election day. So that's it. Back to you, Nicole.
All right. Thank you very much. So I have the distinct pleasure of introducing our guest of honor now. Many of you already know her, but as I was reading over her bio, there is so much that she has accomplished over the years. Carmalitha is a healthcare industry leader dedicated to increasing access to quality services for seniors. She has launched a range of wellness programs for Atlanta area seniors, including pop-up dental clinics, farmers markets, and other initiatives. She has also been busy in her role as District 2 Council member. While in office, she has created smart city legislation, COVID recovery legislation, and strategic economic development, just to name a few of the policies that she has worked on. Now that we have given the official bio, I would like to turn it over to Councilwoman Gumbs to give a quick welcome. Oh, and before we do that, this is called Conversations with Carm. And in our last session, she did give permission for us to call her Carm. So that is what we're going to do during this conversation. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to you, Carm.
Well, good afternoon and happy Saturday to everyone that has joined. As Nicole mentioned, I am Councilwoman Carmalitha Gumbs. I am representing District 2 in the city of South Fulton. I'm excited about our campaign, and I know we only have 30 days to go, but again, well, maybe I'm not too excited, but I'm excited just to get it over with and get everything done so we can get back to business. One of the things about me, as you know, I love this city. I have been living in this city for about 15 years. It's the first place I landed when I came to Atlanta, and I haven't left since. So I am very committed and passionate about this community, and I hope that can be expressed through, the activities that I do and bringing, residents together, and as well as my communication. I want to see the city thrive, and I believe in the residents. I believe in what we're doing as a city, and I see the progress. And I just want to continue on that spectrum. And that's why I'm asking for another 4 years. We've accomplished some great things, even during a pandemic. So again, as you mentioned, smart city legislation. We just getting our fire station land that's almost being purchased for a new fire station, which are things that the residents have said they wanted. We've almost had the transition completed with Wolf Creek Amphitheater, so we can also have some new programming there with concerts, and then locating our town center. So we have a robust of things happening, and I want to continue to push that path so we can continue on to success. So that's what I'm about. I am happy to provide the opportunity for residents and my neighbors just to get to know me a little bit more and share some key updates about what's happening in the city.
Okay, so you've briefly touched on this, but I always like to start with the question of why. Why did you choose to step up and run? The city of South Fulton is a new city, so that comes with its own challenges. But can you share with us why you decided to put your name in the hat?
Well, I can tell you initially what made me run for office was that I was working in DeKalb County as a chief of staff under an elected official. I got to see the nitty gritty and everything that was happening with that county municipal government. And in that time, we're going through the cityhood for the time. And there were some concerns because I was watching how resources were going to certain communities and not always touching everyone. One of the reasons why I decided to become a city, just to be, self, determination and being able to make our own decisions. So that was one of the reasons. And then also too, I worked in local government. When I first got out of undergrad, I worked for the city of Richmond in Richmond, Virginia, and limited resources, limited access to things. So I've worked in communities that have been underserved, and I've worked in communities that have been able to really flourish. And I just wanted to make sure that I was the one able to really, push the needle to get our city to go where we need to go. I ran against 12 people. It was a very difficult campaign as far as raising money because it was 12 of us. People didn't know who we were, and they had to make a decision. So it took a minute for us to really get to where we need to go. But I think I was steadfast, I was committed, and people, when they get to talk to me, they know that I'm very passionate about our community. So I think they gravitate towards my authenticity. So other than that, that's the reason why I ran. And again, I see the future. I am a visionary. I see, South Fulton being the cream of the crop. So I'm ready for that to continue to come to fruition.
Man, running against 12 people, I cannot even imagine. I remember when the city was doing all that it needed to do to apply to be a city, but I can't imagine what running against 12 people and the nuances of just breaking through the noise. So people knew who you were, but you came out victorious. So it worked.
It was hard. Again, you just had to continue to. I really enjoyed the campaign of getting out and meeting my neighbors and talking about the issues that they were having in the city and what they wanted to see. So that was really enjoyable for me. I am a people's person. I love people. So even though it was hard work, it didn't feel like it. So I think that was what continued to push me to get out.
Okay, well, we had a question come in about senior care this week. Can you explain any efforts in the district about what is taking place currently or what is on the horizon for senior care initiatives?
Well, definitely. Of course, I am a senior advocate and I work in that space of seniors all the time. And South Fulton has one of the fastest growing region of seniors. And what we're looking to do, we don't have a lot of senior housing, which is pretty tough, but a lot of developers are now coming in and waving that carrot of senior housing, but we have to make sure that we're disciplined enough to know exactly where that senior housing is going to go. We just recently opened up a new senior primary care facility off of Old National called Centerwell. So we are looking for health facilities, and I'm pretty sure more will continue once they see that that location is there off of Old National. It's absolutely beautiful. I encourage residents to at least go and take a tour, but it's for our seniors, and we are looking to do that. So we are on that path of making sure that we're opening up amenities for our seniors and continuing to focus on what it is that they need so they can age in place properly.
Oh, that's wonderful. As a follow-up, that person also asked a question, or they typed in about healthcare and well-being. So I'm guessing that they are asking about the overall initiatives that may be in place or in the works for healthcare that center around healthcare and the well-being of residents of District 2. Can you speak a little bit more about that as a whole?
Well, definitely. I know with Cliftondale, of course, we're going through a parks master plan right now, but at Cliftondale Park, we're reprogramming that park to be a senior-friendly park where they're able to walk. We're going to redo the ground so they can have a walking trail. We continue to hold senior activities at that location. So we are really focusing on seniors' health and well-being because, of course, that all ties into making sure that they age in place properly. So it is on the horizon. We are continuing to make sure that seniors are at the top of mind. Also, too, one of the things that I am working on with Christopher Pike, which is our economic development administrator, is kind of like a senior legacy program where we know seniors have been here in South Fulton for about 30 to 40 years in their homes. So we know that we're growing fast and furious, and we have to find a way to make sure that we don't displace our seniors based off of, you know, the rising activity that's happening with buildings. So we are really focusing on trying to provide even some type of discount or amenities for our seniors if they've owned their homes for a certain amount of time. So we're going through that vetting process, but it's almost done. It's been like a year and a half through that vetting process. But what we have to keep really hone in on is the fact that we have to make sure our tabs are in place and other economic incentives so we can make sure our seniors are taken care of.
Yeah, that's wonderful. We've had a question come in. What development is in the future for the Buttner Road corridor?
So the Buttner Road corridor, which end is it? The West Doves Buttner corridor, or are we talking about Buttner Road Camp Creek corridor? Put it
Andy,
in the
let
chat.
us know which one you're referencing.
Well, what I can tell you is that Buttner Road and Camp Creek is one of our nodes in the city of South Fulton. So you will see activity and development there. What we have designed within our strategic economic development plan, we've identified 9 nodes within the city of South Fulton where we want to make sure that it's robust economic development. Certainly looking at density, increasing the density, also to making sure that we have, again, amenities, shopping, eating, all of those things that residents have asked for. So in those 9 nodes, that is where we will be directing our economic development. And Buttner Road and Camp Creek is one of them. Also to Enon and Merck Road is one of them next to Camp Creek, and then Campbellton and Merck Road. And then we have West Doves and Cascade Palmetto as well. So we have some identified nodes that are really in the heart of District 2, and we are looking forward towards the economic development. And I hope I answered that question.
Yeah, Andy, let us know if you have a follow-up, but in the meantime, we'll go to the next one. There were a number of questions that came in asking about streetlights, sanitation, and littering cleanup plans. Can you discuss the plans that are in the works for these issues?
Well, definitely, of course. We are going through our streetlight master plan, and we have residents' input. So if you weren't able to get any input in for our streetlight master plan, I definitely encourage residents to go on our city's website. The plan is there. I've sent it out numerous times in my newsletter, but you can click on the link where you can go and find out exactly where we are planning to install lights and shifting them over from probably the dull ones to the LED lights, and then also adding some additional lights. We had some problem areas off of Enon and Camp Creek. We've had some really, I guess, some violent accidents, and we've actually are in the process of installing a light there. So I don't know, the pole has been erected. I saw it this week, so I'm kind of excited about that. Also, as far as cleaning and littering, that's a tough one. We have worked very hard on the littering campaign. I've instrumented the anti-littering laws and making sure that we increase the fines and making them stronger so we can really penalize those that are violating our laws. Also, too, we did the Adopt a Street Highway program. That was another legislation that I've authored. And I see a lot of organizations that are adopting roads. But I want to encourage, if you know anybody that is interested in adopting a road, please encourage them to do that in South Fulton. We do have cameras deployed in certain locations as well. And we're looking to see if there are ways that we can continue to increase funding for more additional cameras throughout our community. And we also have the Clean City Litter Crew as well that we have identified. And I see Ms. Harvey is on here. She is a staunch advocate of making sure that they're on top of the litter here in the city of South Fulton. So they do work on illegal dumping. And one last thing that we are moving towards is having a one provider sanitation provider for the city of South Fulton. Again, right now, the residents have the option of picking a sanitation provider to, handle their trash. And at the same time, we have different providers that are all on our streets, and they are, ruining some of our streets, even though we do charge them a fee that they have to give to the city of South Fulton. But I think one provider will allow us the autonomy to really address residents' issues, and then also to making sure that we don't have multiple providers on our streets on a daily basis. So we're looking forward to that. That legislation should be coming to the council probably by November or the top of the year. And we should move forward with getting sanitation probably by mid-spring. So those are some of the things. I know it's very frustrating. I hear from residents a lot because, of course, we sponsor residents to do cleanups and things of that nature. I hear all the time, why are we spending, money if we're paying our taxes for this, that, and the third? One other thing that links this all together to make it work is community pride. We really have to focus, and I'm not saying that it is even our residents. We do have, we're a gateway to a lot of cities. So it could be, quite a bit of different people, but I hate litter bugs, but we still have to continue to educate our residents and those who visit our city that we won't tolerate litter bugs. So we're working on some litter campaigns as well. I got popped on the hand just a bit because I was ready to put up a billboard on Camp Creek, and they were like, hold on, Councilwoman Gumbs, you can't do that. And I got in trouble for that, but I was ready because I'm so frustrated because we have a beautiful city, and a lot of the things that with the trash really impacts our daily lives. It impacts our Chattahoochee River. You can't break down plastic that well. So it is a lot of things that are happening that litter really impacts on a daily basis.
I'm glad to hear all of that. I mean, it's so much that happens on a local level, and it just makes me think about the importance of voting in these elections up and down the ballot. So I do want to encourage people that October 4th is that date that you would have to register by to vote in this election. So please tell friends and family. I know those of you here probably are registered to vote, but double check your voting registration, double check your polling location, do all of that ahead of time so that we don't have those problems come up. And this question that you just answered leads into one of the questions that came in. And I'm going to read it exactly how it was written. Why is our city tax millage rate is higher than other cities as shown on recent tax bills? So can you talk to that just a little bit?
Well, I definitely can. Of course, we are a new city. We've only been in city since 2017. And certainly our millage rate helps with our operations. Of course, it helps with our schools. And again, the majority of the money that we're paying in taxes is going to Fulton County Schools. So I do need to make sure I say that. But if you're looking at cities like Alpharetta, Johns Creek, all of those big cities that have quite a bit of a lower millage rate, they have those major corporations that are there to help them with their taxes. So we don't really have a big commercial base as of yet. We have gotten Fulton Industrial. We have not started to see any of the revenue from Fulton Industrial as of yet. But once we see that, there probably will be some relief on the millage rate. We'll probably have to roll it back because we are starting to see those revenues. But it's a direct correlation with the major corporations that are coming to the cities that really impact the millage rate and their buy-ins for that commercial base. So like if we get Microsoft or we get, the big Amazons of the world and those type of things like we see in Alpharetta or we see in Sandy Springs, then we'll see an impact on our millage rate. So we have to be directly intentional about the global businesses that we try to bring to the city of South Fulton.
That makes perfect sense. And I want to, Andy put another question in the chat. I want to bring that up. On Tuesday, the mayor and councils exercised the eminent domain procedure instead of an Eastmonton, of an Eastmonton property, but did not give a reasoning. Can you talk a little bit about what happened on Tuesday?
So on Tuesday, the eminent domain, and we did that for, I believe it was 3207 Buttner Road, and that was for the new, for the bridge widening. They have been in negotiations with that particular property owner for quite some time. I could say it's been even about almost 3 years to trying to find a medium of where we can make it work. The negotiations were unsuccessful. And based off of, the Georgia state law and the city municipal law, we were able to go in and do eminent domain for the public safety. So that is the reason why you saw that on there. There's also, there was another one that was on there for the sidewalk easement. And that one has not, I asked them to hold that because I have had a few residents reach out because they feel like there is a bit of negotiations that is still left. So that one was held. But as far as the one for Buttner Road that was completed, again, the widening of Buttner Road, if you've ever been on that bridge coming off of Camp Crete, you could see the dire straits of us trying to get that done. So it's unfortunate that we did have to take some eminent domain to get that done, but we had to do it for the public safety and the well-being of our residents. And I hope I answered your question, Andy.
Yep, Andy, let us know if you have a follow-up on that one, but that leads into the next question. As council members, you all have a tough job when it comes to making decisions for the greater good of the entire community. The next question is one of those. Our next question is about the topic of traffic control. Can you talk about traffic control at Stonewall Tell and Campbellton?
Well, definitely, and I definitely thank you for that question because I get this a lot. I would have thought that this stoplight would have been here by now, but we are still in the process of getting parcels from some of the landowners within the cities, but they do anticipate it was supposed to be up by October, but that traffic light will be there, they're saying by December at the latest. So it is a traffic improvement that is coming. It is a light that will be able to allow residents to really travel through that intersection safely. So I'm looking forward to that. As far as traffic mitigation, we do have a transportation department under our public works, and we're constantly trying to find better ways to improve our roads and make sure that, things are safe for our residents. And that also kind of includes lighting as well. So again, we're still working on it. I know we have some roundabouts that are coming. We have 3 roundabouts that are coming to Buttner Road. And it's one that's already actually started construction. So right there, Buttner Road is Stonewall Tell. We have one that's coming to Buttner and West Stubbs, and then also to Buttner and Union Road, which is a location where they have a lot of accidents. So we are listening to residents. We are constantly, as you know, Buttner Road has about 7,000 cars that travel through there a day, and they don't pay attention to the speed, unfortunately. We do believe that these roundabouts are probably the most effective way to slow down the traffic and make it safer for the residents.
It's always interesting to me to hear the variety of ways that cities look at mitigating traffic concerns. And so I like the creativity that I hear thus far. And so hopefully that will continue on.
Well, definitely, even with the one that's on Buttner Road, it'll be a double roundabout, which is one of the first in the state. So we are making history with that. We just hope that residents will be able to drive around it, and it probably will take some time, but it will be an added addition that we do need.
Yep. And we have a question from Ms. Harvey. How is the city of South Fulton going to control investors for buying all of the real estate that will shut out home buying for private customers?
Well, legally, if these are individual homes, we cannot stop a resident from selling their homes to an individual investor. What we can do is continue to educate our residents, and we have to be really steadfast, because from the pandemic, we've noticed that a lot of, residents have, given up their homes to, avoid foreclosure or have gone through foreclosure, and the people that are coming through to buy up those homes are investors. So we have to really educate our residents on, ways that they can just avoid, or resources that we can give them in order to avoid having to sell to investors. One of the things that we are working on, and we actually have passed the legislation, is making sure that we are educating our developers and letting them know that we do not, or we're not interested in them coming to our area to build new residential that is 100% rental. We're a city that has probably the highest home ownership out of the surrounding South municipalities here. And we want to continue on that. We believe that, our homes have wealth and value in it, and we need to make sure that we continue to educate. So we did a moratorium, and then we also updated our zoning laws to make sure that, residents, developers know that they cannot come to our area and build a complete subdivision that is 100% rental, because it kind of ties us in. It'll cause a transient community. People, rent, don't mean or intentionally want to stay long. And I get that, we have very esteemed people that come to our area and they like to rent before they buy. And I understand all of that. But again, it creates kind of like a rat wheel as far as housing for us, and we're not interested in that. So we are moving legislation to address that.
Yeah, I think when you at least have a balance of that, then you have people that are truly passionate about the community because they plan to stay there, and it gives them an overall different level of engagement. So I can see that balance is necessary.
And then we're also working with many of the HOAs as well to encourage them to amend their HOA, their covenant, to address those issues. I think some may have, rentals for 25% and things of that nature, but they need to seek out some type of, attorney, or hire a lawyer to let them know what their rights are, and if they can, decrease it to where they don't have such a high percentage of renters that they need to allow in their covenant.
That's good. Okay, another big topic. This topic of warehousing comes up often. As I said in our last town hall, we could probably do an entire town hall on this subject alone. Can you explain the warehousing situation in the city of South Fulton? The question that was asked for the last one was stated that warehousing is outpacing all other businesses in the area.
That's simply not true in the city of South Fulton. We, as I've said on many times, that since the city's inception, we've only approved 5 warehouses. And they were all inherited from the county, and they were in industrial areas. When we began this thing with cityhood, we really understood that residents did not want warehouses backed up to their homes. What residents are seeing, or people that travel through our community, they're seeing other neighboring municipalities that are putting up warehouses or approving warehouses. So I want people to be clear. It is not the city of South Fulton that is approving warehouses. We understand what the residents are saying. One of the things too I've heard on many occasions is that, oh, well, we're going to stop the neighboring cities. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. You have to be a staunch advocate. Many of us have done that. We have with other municipalities, council members, and mayors, and it has not been successful. We cannot dictate to another municipality what their economic development will be. We have to be intentional about ours and making sure that our lines are addressed properly, and that's what we've been doing with our zoning update and rewrite. So we've tweaked it. We are making sure that this type of thing cannot happen. We've made sure that we've positioned for more green space in our city. And we have a place now for warehouses to go off of Fulton Industrial. So if it is, someone that wants to bring a warehouse location, we have ways to repurpose that within the city, but it is not us. And I want residents to really, when you see people saying the city of South Fulton has this, that, and the third, they're doing all of these warehouses, let them know it's not us. It's not us. And we are, again, working, and we've even kind of tackled even some legislation and litigation with other municipalities as well to see if we can do an injunction. So those are things that we are working on, but it is not us. And I need residents to know that. Now we're close to it. It does impact us, especially with the truck traffic and the things of that nature. So we are making sure that we're finding safer ways for our residents to be addressed.
And I believe when I was first talking to you, the number of warehouses that you mentioned that were in the district was extremely low.
Well, in District 2, we don't have any. We're not designed to have any warehouses. I know a lot of people are running off of warehouses and this, that, and the third, but those are buzzwords because they do know that those things are what gets under our residents' skins. But it's no warehouses in District 2. It's none coming to District 2. We're not even zoned for warehouses in District 2.
Oh, that's great. I'm going to transition to another question that you touched on, and then I'm gonna come back to your question, Andy. But one of the questions that came up in the last town hall that I wanted to make sure we touched on again was about truck traffic and how it's moving through the district. Residents asked everything from, have you all spoken to the companies that are behind these truck traffic to the different ways that are being planned to divert them? So I wanted to give you a chance to speak a little more about the truck traffic that's in the district.
Well, definitely the truck traffic has been a major issue, of course, because of our neighboring cities and their warehouses. So we have, initially when we first came into office, we worked on the truck ordinance. We restricted roads to where these truckers, these 18-wheelers are not supposed to be on. They have signage and things of that nature. We did get popped on the hand because there were some state roads that we did try to restrict and we could not. But we have our truck ordinance. Our police officers are steadfast in trying to making sure that they're addressing this truck traffic. We've held stings. We've had them positioned in locations where we've heard that there's been frequent truck trafficking. It is a fine of $1,000 if you get caught on our restricted streets, and our officers have been giving out those fines. One of the things that the chief is working with in the state house with our delegation is the cameras. So you know that we have our camera system here for our schools. So if we see a truck that is traveling on a restricted street in front of our schools and we're able to take a picture of that, we're able to send them a $1,000 fine in the mail. So we're working on trying to get that legislation completed. It was in the House last year, but it didn't make it through, and we are putting that on the table this year. So we are addressing that through that camera ordinance that was recently passed. Again, residents are taking pictures, which I do encourage them. At first, I did encourage them to do it, but when I started seeing residents flying down the street, still trying to take pictures, I don't encourage that. But again, just be mindful of, the traffic, the trucks that are sneaking through our restricted streets. We've had residents actually try to redirect with signage where we need to actually have more signage. If we can make the signage bigger, we've done all of that. The chief has been in contact with these major agencies within the city of South Fulton. I think that was one of the questions from last time, but again, maybe he needs to reach out to them again, as well as maybe we can try to, I know, with the internet and things of that nature, he's trying to make sure that these GPSs and the maps are coordinated properly for them. So there's a lot of work that we're doing to try to curb this. Right now, you'll just find that these people are just going to ride on the street and take the risk of getting a fine or getting stuck in a subdivision and getting a fine. But we're doing the work to try to rectify that.
Okay, that sounds good. When is the 1946 bridge at Buttner and Camp Crete scheduled for replacing, and how long will it be out of commission?
Well, I don't know how long it will be out of commission. We just went through, as I mentioned earlier, the eminent domain. So now it is in the process of really starting to move forward. I know that we have the funding. We were hoping to have it done and started by November. I'm pretty sure probably towards the end of the year or the top of the year, you'll start seeing that construction, but I do not know how long it'll be out of commission. Because also another challenging thing is that on one end of Buttner Road, we got the bridge widening, and then on the other end of Buttner Road, we have the roundabout coming. So one of the things that I have to talk to our public works director is not to make it a traffic nightmare or more than what it is already a nightmare. So we just have to be mindful of that. So that's what we're working on. Did that come from Mr. Foster?
Yep.
Okay.
So I also wanted to bring up another question from last time, which is about safety and policing. You mentioned some really good things that were going on in the district. So I wanted you to have an opportunity to touch on safety and policing in the area.
Yes, and thank you for that question. So one of the things I hear often, even through social media, even being out in the field, is that our city is so dangerous. And it is really not. And again, our name, probably because we're the city of South Fulton and then also being associated with South Fulton County, a lot of the cities are all lumped together, but our city is really not a dangerous city. Actually, our crime is down in double digits, which is really good, and in the majority of our districts. I do know that District 2 has the lowest and has had the lowest crime rate since 2017. That could also be due to our citywide neighborhood watch legislation that I authored very early on because public safety was a very big thing to me. We have just recently had 58 HOAs sign up for that. And we're excited about, the progression of that, but we're going to continue to make sure our streets are safe. And the city knows that we have a really, really good police chief. He is committed to making sure that our city is safe, and we are really thriving. We are really focusing on cleaning up Fulton Industrial and as well as Old National. So most of the crime or situations that are happening are coming out of those corridors. So a lot of the resources are deployed there. But here in the district, we have, again, the public safety community building that's over here in the shops of Buttner Road, where we host a lot of community events, where we have our police officers there, and they do a host of activities where you can actually come in and talk with our police officers. So we're doing the work. We just will continue, and we need residents to do the work as well. Be very vocal about what you're seeing in the city. I know it's very scary sometimes, but if you see something that doesn't look right, say something, because most of the time it's not right. So I do encourage that, but we have been really doing the fighting of making sure our crime stays at an all-time low in the district. So I'm excited about that. Again, we have ATV task force. I know the ATVs have been a very big nuisance in the district because we have all of these beautiful hills and things of that nature. So I work with the chief to make sure that we were able to get some ATVs in their department. Also making sure that we were able to work with these businesses and companies that own the easement, the utility companies. So they're now able to go on the utility easement to, track dangerous activities, to follow these ATVs and those type of things. So there's a lot of components to public safety that we've been really addressing. And one last thing is that we will have a public safety, again, the fire station is coming to the Cascade corridor, but that will be a fire station in conjunction with the police training station as well, that's coming to the Cascade Palmetto corridor. So we have the beat realignments for improving response time. It's so much with public safety that we have done, and we have been super successful about it. And I will continue to champion our police officers and public safety in the city of South Fulton.
And you guys are doing a gun buyback pretty soon. Can you speak to that?
Yes, now that's not everybody's cup of tea.
Yeah.
This will be our third gun buyback, especially I felt it's important because we have seen, a lot of break-ins that happen, especially with car break-ins or home invasions. Guns are the first things that are stolen. So what we are trying to do is give these individuals or people that may have found a gun the opportunity to bring it back to us with no questions asked. Now, what we have been able to accomplish out of the two that we've held previously is that we were able to get some guns that have been involved in some crimes and things of that nature. So we've been able to really get some things off the street. So again, I encourage residents, and even if it's some seniors that just want to get it out their house, or if they're broken guns that they're no longer useful, a broken gun through my research now is even more dangerous having in your home or, just having in your possession. So again, it's an opportunity to really try to make an impact on crime. I do promote responsible gun ownership. Let me make sure I say that, because I don't want people to think that I'm telling you to get rid of your guns. No, that's not the case, but I do promote responsible gun ownership. We just want to get illegal guns off of the street.
All right, well said. Okay, on a lighter note, before we get to the questions about future plans of the city, I would like to do a few rapid fire questions. Just so we can get to know you a little better. It won't be painful, I
Okay.
promise. Okay. What's your favorite color?
Pink.
Oh, good. What is your favorite pastime?
Oh gosh. My favorite pastime, and I hate to say it, is going on TikTok.
There's some good recipes on TikTok.
I could waste a whole day on TikTok, but sometimes it's just, seeing somebody else's life in a different light is hilarious to me.
Uh-huh. I am guilty of that sometimes. What's your zodiac sign?
I am a Cancer, so that can probably explain to people I'm so nurturing and, passionate and sensitive all at the same time. You get a whole world of Carmalitha in a Cancer. So.
Yeah. If money was no object, where would you travel this weekend?
Where would I travel this weekend? An island, the Maldives. That's probably I love water, so I would be somewhere isolated near a beach and reading a book.
Oh, I totally concur. I don't want to be off the grid though, where you don't have internet. That makes me a little nervous. Okay, summer or winter?
Winter.
Oh my goodness. Coffee or tea?
Tea.
Okay. When are you most productive?
At 4 a.m. in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
My brain dies probably around 3:30.
I am guilty of that too. I'm a 4 a.m. person as well. How do you start your day?
I actually start my day with meditation. I do actually close my eyes and really try to make sure my day goes the way that I hope it does. So I do use meditation. I just sit and just be in solitude just for, 10, 15 minutes. That's important to me. It's my space. And that's what I need to do every morning.
Mm-hmm. Who is your inspiration?
My mom, number one, is my inspiration. I have quite a few, but my mom is my inspiration. She actually pushes me to continue not to, because there are days when you just want to be like, you know what, forget this. But my mom encourages me to, have my pity moment, cry and get over it and do the work of the people. So that, and my daughter's my motivation as well, because she's such a little feminist that it makes me nervous, but she is a little feminist. So a lot of what I do, I see that is starting to be in her. So.
And last question, what advice would you give your younger self?
Younger self. We all make bad decisions at a young age. I would definitely say, learn from each decision and just not make the same mistake. That's all I can tell myself, because I've learned from every decision that has been a bad mistake. So you have to go through them in order to mature. So I would say that, yeah.
Yeah, life can sometimes be its own best teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we've got a question in the comments. What is the status of the horse farm on Buttner?
When they're asking about the status, can you be a little bit more specific? Is it still operating? What? I know that's Miss Harvey.
Well, we've got two people asking that.
I'm
question.
sorry.
Is it still operating?
Yes, he does still have his Buttner Road horse farm. As you can see, he's added some horses there as well. He is really trying to make it an equestrian location, to where he's trying to teach kids within the riding, trying to teach them how to ride. So the equestrian, he's trying to make an equestrian stable. As of right now, is he within code? As of right now, he is within code. There is still some litigation that he is having to address with the state, not with the city or the county. So those are some things, but he is still, as of right now, in code compliance. What about, I don't know, she posted in there about the horses being cared for properly. As of right now, the horses seem to be cared for properly. Animal control is still under Fulton County. So if you would like to, if you have a concern about that, I would reach out to them and have them do an inspection. I hope I answered your question, Ms. Harvey and Mr. Foster.
Okay. Okay, let's talk about future plans a little bit and economic development. What's your vision for the city?
So my vision for the city is that we actually have economic development that respects the residents' input here in the city. We want to see certain things. We want to be a part of our economic development strategy, which I think that we have made a really good use of that. So I want a progressive, a robust economic engine within the city. I see the nodes. I'm excited about the nodes as well, because that means that all of that development is not coming inside or in the interior, really impacting the residents that have brought homes here. I know that people move here for a certain thing. So like when I moved here, I was like, it's no lights, it's dark. And I had to get used to the horses. That was another thing, the horses on Camp Crete. But what I do see is the vision of us having things here in our city where we don't have to travel to our neighboring cities and using our tax dollars to spend. So I'm excited about that. I want us to have, again, economic development that reflects who we are as a community and what we want to see. So it's the walking trails, it's the belt line, proposed belt line along the Chattahoochee, nice shops and restaurants. One of the locations that I went to, I like is it called the vineyard, the vinings, not the vinings, it's up and comings. And it was a beautiful location where you have, multi-family living, you have single family housing, but it's almost like a mix, and you can have all of this green space. So I want there to be something for residents to do, that they don't have to travel so far to get stuff done. So each district offers its own personality. I know with our particular district, we offer a lot of personality, arts, entertainment, and family fun. And I want to see us expand upon that. So I'm passionate about what we got going on. I think the residents will like it, but I do encourage them to continue to use their voice and participate in those input processes. When you see stuff that's coming, say something. If you don't like it, say something. We have the ultimate control right now because we have a clean slate. So we can make decisions on what we want and what we don't want here in the city of South Fulton.
So when we hear chatter about we should just call up Trader Joe's and tell them to come on to our city, can you speak about you all calling up Trader Joe's.
I
The
just wish
possibilities.
and I get it. I know residents are frustrated. They want stuff right now because we've been disenfranchised for so long. But unfortunately, if I could get a Trader Joe's today, it would have happened. Economic development just does not work like that. So I don't want residents to be blinded thinking that they're going to get a Trader Joe's or a Panera Bread and it's just going to drop the day after somebody gets in office. That's simply not true. We have the plans, and you need plans in order to move a vision forward. So that is how economic development works, and residential input. And we have several plans that this city has been built upon residential input, and we will continue to move that way. We just can't drop something in a city and say that because somebody may not want it. It just doesn't happen that way. So, and it's not going to happen in District 2 that way. It's not going to happen in other areas that way.
Right.
So.
Well, we're bumping up against the hour. This conversation has been full of great information. And we're going to put up on the screen now how you can follow along on the campaign. While we do that, Carmalitha, will you give us your closing thoughts and let us know what you'd like to leave our guests with today?
So what I would like to leave my guests with today is that I want you all to really take this campaign seriously. We are in a city that has over 107,000 residents, and residents are in need of good representation. They need leaders who have integrity. They need leaders who are going to lead their communities. And that's what this is about. I believe in these past 4 years, I have shown my commitment, my integrity, and that I am dedicated to leading our residents. And not even just our District 2 residents, and doing right for the entire city, because I do have residents that don't live in my district that I do help, because again, it is an effort to make sure that we're all neighborly. So for me, it's about making sure that we continue on our path of recovery, of COVID recovery, making sure that we are intentional about resources that we bring to the city. A lot of our neighbors have definitely been impacted by that. Also, to making sure, again, we're very, very cautious and strategic about economic development and making sure that it's respectable of our residents and their input here in the city of South Fulton. I want to continue to make sure that, again, we bring stability to our government. As you know, I'm not part of any drama that happens. I believe if a vote happens, then the vote happens, and we move forward if that is the will of the body. I'm not in the mix of drama. I've owned every decision that I've made, even if it wasn't in the positive, and residents will let you know that. So I have the backing, the tough skin, even though it might be a day where I'll be like, oh, I'm not dealing with this today. But again, I think I've learned my neighbors and they know who I am as an individual. And lastly, again, I just want to make sure that we continue to make sure that we are a city that is progressive, that we are a city that is committed to making sure that we're doing the best for our citizens, and whether that be through technology, because we really want to enhance technology and broadband, because again, the pandemic has changed us. We've changed our world. So now, instead of doing all of these face-to-face meetings or anything of that nature, we're working from home. We need to make sure that we are able to have Wi-Fi throughout the city, make sure our parks and recs have Wi-Fi. So really working on expanding our broadband. So those are the things that I want to work on in next quarter, the next 4 years. And again, building a city where we're committed to engagement and making sure residents have their input. So I ask for your vote. I ask for your support for the next 30 days to get us to the finish line. And if there are any questions or anything that I can answer for you, I'm up, like I told you, at 4 a.m. answering emails. So if you need to shoot me an email or I'm in my inbox, send it to me. No question is a dumb question or a hard question. Even if I don't want to answer it, I still will answer it. So that means I'm accessible to you. And I, again, want to support this city. I love this city. So I'm asking for your support for another 4 years. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. There are some links in the comments for you all to follow as far as ways to follow the campaign. And we hope you have enjoyed this conversation today. feel free to share it out with friends, family, residents in the area so that they can learn more too. And be sure that if you are not registered to vote, make sure you're registered to vote by October 4th to participate in this election. So we thank you all for taking a little bit of time with us, and enjoy the rest of your Saturday.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Harvey.
Thanks, everyone.
All right, bye-bye. Enjoy your Saturday.